The Simpsons, Season 37, Episode 3, titled Treehouse of Horror 36. And of course, this is the beginning of the Treehouse of Horror annual special that happens every season. And as always, there's three stories per episode. So let's jump into it. So the first one is, I will say this, is the weakest out of the three, where it's just a very simple story and it there's nothing much to it. It's so there's this creature that's made out of fat, and there's a carnival going around, and carnivals equal people having fatty foods, and that creates this giant like grease fat monster that's attacking Springfield, and like Lou, the police officer Lou, Mo, Homer, Bart, several of the characters of Springfield has to stop it. And it's just I'm watching it, I go meh over it. Um there's a gag about, because like Homer and Bart talk very southern. You know, they talk like this for the entire time, and oh, but they're wearing cowboy boots and hats and all that, and except Homer doing why you little, it's him getting his hand smacking Bart with it, and I'm like, is that meant to be funny? Is that like it's like the jokes didn't land. I I was like, is this meant to be like, clearly it's meant to be a different type of Springfield, but it's so familiar to the point all of a sudden like Bart and Homer have their own like grease company, and it was one of those situations where I get it that we're trying to go for like, hey, it's kind of similar but it's not, and that type of thing. But it just is the weakest story out of the three. Now, the second weakest, because I'll talk about the best one in at the end, but the second one is called Plastic World, which is kind of what you've been seeing in the posters, like a plastic version of the characters. Um, And I thought it was kind of neat. I mean, the concept is that human waste has, like, pollution has happened. That we have created a plastic world where everything's plastic. It is like a Mad Max in a plastic world, and Lisa is the one who's the leader of this charge, of this group of people, and along with his, and in let's say Group A. Lisa is the leader of Group A. That includes, yes, some of the kids like Millhouse first. So you got Miss Dinner and Ned and other characters out through. But you also got Group B, that's run by another character. Okay, spoiler, it's Bart. Um, which I won't lie, halfway through that story, I was like, the did Bart say something blue? Like the blue leg was coming out of Bart Simpson in that one line. I was like, is it me, or did my ears heard like Bart dropping the F bomb? Because I was like, my ears, my general, my precious innocent ears. Um, but but the concept is that it's kind of like it's the zombie apocalypse kind of concept, where there's, you know Homer and Mars have turned into plastic, and several other members of the Simpsons characters are also plastic and trying to convert people to turn into plastic people. And where it's set, like it's set in a cricket mart, which I was like, oh, that's neat, because it's been a while since we ever been to the cricket mart because of the Apu situation. Snake, I was also surprised showing up. I was like, hasn't it been a while since they used Snake? Why? What was the controversy over Snake? I don't, you know, he, she needs premium, dude. Premium, you know. I was like, I was very surprised that Snake hasn't been used for a while. Very surprising. Apu, I get. But yeah, but they're making jokes about how those are the two popular characters that haven't been used for a bit for X amount of reasons. Thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, the whole world of Plastic World is quite appealing because you got this like 2D animation with the characters with this 3D background that's all built with plastic and stuff like that. So that was quite appealing with its environment and its concept, and also a sense of creepiness where you see plastic Homer, plastic Mars, and plastic Widom, and plastic Lenny, and Lovejoy. I think Carl, yeah, plastic Carl. Um, so there's a sense of a creepiness to it as well. Um, and they they have fun with it. They have a fun aspect to it, and it took me a while to realize, wait, Maggie isn't in this bit yet. Maggie hasn't shown up for the entire story or any of these stories. What's going on? And then Maggie shows up at the end, and Maggie is the future of the human race, or a version of the human race, which I couldn't help but laugh. And she is voiced by Adobe Davis, which hey, if you find out that you're going to sound like with Avara Davis, that's not a bad thing. I'm always that guy who says, hey, for the next 3 years, do the high school years, of Bar Lisa, and have Maggie talk. Um, you know, there might be stories out there that might be quite interesting to explore. But and also it's a way I will repeat this. It's a way to maybe recast characters without making people feel like why does Harlan sound different? Why does Mars sound different? It's like no, they just that's what they sound like when they age. So I thought the plastic one, the last one, was quite neat. Now the best one is the one in the middle, which is clearly a parody of a movie that came out. Was it last year or 2 years ago? I think it came out in 2023, I believe, called Late Night with the Devil, and it's a parody on that where instead a late night show, it's a episode of Krusty the Clown. He's having a Halloween special, and all suddenly devilly things are happening, and so you have was it Mr. Tiki, the monkey, getting possessed and murdering a bunch of people and the audience members. Um, by the way, it is quite violent. This is a quite violent episode. Like I was like, wow, I don't think I can show that on YouTube, or show that on YouTube, or show that on YouTube. I don't think I can show any of that on YouTube. Um, yeah, even though it's animation, but like the gore aspect of this special is absolutely like whoa. But but this episode is just I found it the most compelling. For the sorry, not this episode. Sorry, the that story, the Mizzle story dealing with Krusty, the late night with the devil story, parody was the most engaging, the most intriguing. Um, you had Idris Elba playing the devil, voicing the devil in there. I think also Michael Keaton is in in that story as well. So that's kind of cool as well. Playing the producer who's like, Krusty, you're great, awesome, the waves are going up, man. Like that, he's playing that type of character, which is quite cool. Um, but yeah, it's just it, the mayhem that comes along with it because you're dealing with the devil and the insanity of it. And of course, there's also a lot of humor of the concept of like all these like 90s kid shows that were meant to be educational, like the Magic Store Bus or the Electric Company. And they all died down, and the whole concept is Krusty the Clown is still going on, and it's like Krusty's not even funny. Why the hell is Magic Store Bus cancelled? But you know, Krusty's still alive, still going on. Um, which I thought that was kind of neat. It's just I felt like it was the most engaging because it acted like a old um television. It doesn't act like an old television show. It acted like an old tape. You know, it came out in the '90s type of mindset. Some creative paybacks for with the devil outside this gore fest for the sense of gore fest. Won't spoil the ending, but of that story. But I thought it was kind of neat as well. Um, but yeah, you know what? I thought this Treehouse of Horror was okay. Like you had one that was there, and then you got the really good one, and then you got um, the pretty decent one. So I say it was good. It was a solid Treehouse of Horror, but the middle one was just king. And I love the Netflix meeting that the devil and Krusty in modern day have a meeting at Netflix, and Netflix are like, but why are we doing it now? Yeah, it's a moment, but it doesn't translate modernly to a modern orient. And I'm like, it's when the devil shows up. Yeah, but and you just like, oh my lord, and probably showing the how hard it is to make a show these days. That's probably what it is. It's just showcasing how difficult it is to get a show greenlit because it's all about it's not because a lot of money is involved, and it's like you want to make sure people are like, hey, is it going to be relevant now? Not irrelevant. Let's say this: Hollywood is not there to make cult classics. Cult classics happen naturally. It doesn't. It's a business after all, so kind of making fun of the business aspect of things. Anyway, comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Which ones out of the three stories that you prefer? Comment below. Let me know your thoughts.